about some racial abuse that unfortunately had been directed at some South Sydney players. That was the initial report when it came out on Monday, but then today I think it was an article from Tyson Jackson of the Daily Telegraph talking about how he'd actually been there and had been around the racism and yeah, it's some really horrible stuff. I don't want to kind of go too deep into it, and I'm not going to read the stuff that was that's been written and things that have been quoted and some of the words, because they're the most derogatory terms that you'll probably ever hear as a human being, and there's certainly no room for that at all. There's no room for racism in any aspect of life, let alone sport. And yeah, I think those people, whether they're South fans, whether they're Dragons fans, or whether it's a combination of both, have no right to be anywhere near rugby league. In my opinion, they don't have the right to be a functioning member of society. They should be coming in with laws that are prosecuting these kinds of people, because it's juvenile behaviour, it's disgraceful behaviour, and the sooner that rugby league and the NRL can weed out these scumbags and make sure that they don't have anything to do with our sport, the better. And I think the only thing worse than some of these remarks is the victim blaming that I've seen a lot of fans on social media do in terms of, they did it only because of this or only because of that. There's no excuse for racism, and I'm glad to see both the Dragons and the NRL, kind of taking charge with that. Kurt, that's probably kind of what the say that I'll have on. I don't know if you have any remarks that you want to add to it, but yeah, disappointing, especially after a pretty positive Saturday night for the Dragons.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll put my hand up here. And this is before the game at Kogarah on the weekend. So I'm happy to put my hand up and say I was defending, footy fans' rights the last couple of weeks to boo whoever they want, and kind of argue that Latrell was playing up a bit like playing up the character a bit like Wally Lewis would do, and playing a character, and if that helped him get in and out of games. But then this stuff came out at Kogarah. And look, I was arguing blue in the face when there's all that stuff came out about Adam Goods and the Swans and AFL fans, and whatever happened there with the AFL. I didn't think our sport was as bad as that, and obviously there's going to be dickheads in every shape of wherever you are. There's always going to be dickheads, but the fact that the Dragons now confirmed all this and working with the NRL, apparently it wasn't just Latrell, it was Cody as well.
Yeah.
My only question is, how does this happen to that extent? And when I say extent, I'm not saying any racism is good.
No.
I mean that, within the limitations of if you don't like a player because he's arch enemy number one, all that kind of stuff. But now the more I think about it, I think there might be a deep-seated thing, and I don't want to go too far into it and all this other stuff. But we, as rugby league fans, should be so proud of the fact that there's more players in the NRL that are black or brown than there are white players.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just don't understand how in one hand – these great players, Indigenous players, Samoans, Tongans, Papua New Guineans, wherever you come from, that on one hand, happy for you to win a competition, but if you're on the other side or, you get onto some of those grubby Facebook pages and all the rest of it, I'll just go back to the fact, look, that there's idiots everywhere and they need to be completely rubbed from the game, especially if there's proof. If there is proof, and that they have to go. I don't know what to say on it, but our game, first Indigenous Australian player, I think his name was Lionel Morgan, a flashy winger back in the day.
Well, even just, sorry to cut you off.
First Indigenous captain of Australia, Arthur Beetson.
Sorry to cut you off, Kurt, but if you look at the Dragons' history, Anthony Mundine and Nathan Blacklock, two of the most exciting players to ever pull on a Red V jersey. So, they won countless games together and excitement. And then you look at the current side, like with Tyrell Sloan at fullback, a guy that a lot of fans love, not just for his exploits on the field, but for what a wonderful human being he is off the field. So if you're making racist remarks and alluding to the Indigenous culture of Latrell Mitchell and Cody Walker, you're also abusing one of your own. You're abusing Tyrell Sloan because Tyrell Sloan is a proud Wajidjeri man. So it just it's really disappointing. I don't want to spend the whole podcast kind of harping on about it, but we wanted to kind of give our view on it. It's disgraceful. It has no right in any part of society, and unfortunately rugby league and the NRL is a small microcosm of kind of what society is, and it's a shame that there's so much hatred and lack of love